वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दं महाप्रभो कीर्तननृत्यगीता वादित्रपादं मनसोरसेन रोमाञ्चकं पाशुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरु श्रीचरणारविन्दं श्रीवेदहाराधननित्यनादा शृङ्गारतन्मन्दिरमार्जना युक्तस्य भक्ताश्रयञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं चतुर्विधा श्रीभगवत्प्रसाद स्वाद्वानद्वेष्टा हरिभक्तिसन्धा तृप्त्यैव तृप्तिं भजता सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपारा माधुर्यनाम्ना प्रतीक्षणा स्वादनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं नैकुञ्जयो नो प्रतिकेलिसिद्धै यायालिभिर्युक्तेरपेक्षणीया तत्रादिदक्षादतिवल्लभस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं साक्षात् हरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भागवते सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्यः प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् भगवति ततोऽपि न्यायास्तुवन्तस्य यशस्विसंज्ञा वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं नमामि विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे नमस्ते कलागलागदायिने हिरण्यवर्षे भवशः शलटङ्गानखालाये ऋतो नरसिंहापरो नरसिंहा यतो यतो यामि Dev Jaya Nrsimha Dev Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Ziyarti? Sorry? Vrindaya Tulsideviya Jaya Shascha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Sakataya Namo Vrindaya Tulsideviya Jaya Shascha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Sakataya Namo Vrindaya Tulsideviya Jaya Shascha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Sakataya Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namaha Radha Krishna Priya Vilashi Je Tumhar Sharanay Tarvancha Purnavare Kripa Kari Karo Hare Vrindavanasi Moraiya Vilash Vilas Kunjali Gova Nayane Gosara Mukadharuparashi Vedanadhar Sakira Lokatakar Seva Adhikar Dij Karma Nijadasi Vira Krishna Das Kai Namo Yahan Shri Radha Govinda Priya Sadai Mahasi Shri Krishna Prayasi Namo Namaha Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahmatyari Kani Cha Tani Tani Prana Shanti Karakshana Pade Pade Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahmatyari Kani Cha Tani Tani Prana Shanti Karakshana Pade Pade Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahmatyari Kani Cha Tani Tani Prana Shanti Karakshana Pade Pade Vrindaya Tulsideviya Jaya Krishna Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Sakataya Namo Vrindaya Tulsideviya Jaya Krishna Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Sakataya Namo Vrindaya Tulsideviya Jaya Krishna Sacha Vishnu Bhakti Paridevi Sakataya Namo. Sorry? Yes. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 9. Lord Chaitanya's travel to the holy places. This is text number 199. सेतु बंदे आसी कैला धनुष तीर्थ स्नान रामेश्वर देखी ताहा करेला विश्राम. Translation. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Setu Bandh, Rameshwar, where he took his bath at the place called Dhanush Tirth. From there he visited the Rameshwar temple and then took rest. Purport. The path from Mandapam through the ocean to the island known as Pambam consists partly of sand and partly of water. The island of Pambam is about 17 miles long and 6 miles wide. On this island, 4 miles north of Pambam Harbour is Setu Bandh, where the temple of Rameshwar is located. This is a temple of Lord Shiva, and the name Rameshwar indicates that he is a great personality whose worshipable deity is Lord Ram. Thus, the Lord Shiva found in the temple of Rameshwar is a great devotee of Lord Ramchandra. It is said, Devi Pattam Arabhya Gacheyu Setu Bandhano. After visiting the temple of goddess Durga, one should go to the temple of Rameshwar. In the area, there are 24 different holy places, one of which is Dhanush Tirth, located about 20 miles southeast of Rameshwar. It is near the last station of the South India Railways, a station called Ramnath. It is said that here, on the request of Ravana's younger brother Vibhishan, Lord Ramchandra destroyed the bridge to Lanka with his bow while returning to his capital. It is also said that one who visits Dhanush Tirth is liberated from the cycle of birth and death, and that one who bathes there gets all the fruitive results of performing yajna known as Agnishtom. There is some more information on this topic. This is one article which is written by one of the devotees of Radhanath Maharaj on Rameshwar and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Rameshwar, located on the Ramnathpuram district of Tamil Nadu, is an island. Is separated from mainland India by the Pambam Channel. It is situated less than 40 kilometers from Sri Lanka and is associated with many of Ram's pastimes in Lanka. Devotees in South India consider Rameshwar to be one of the four holiest tirthas or Char Dham, and that is not surprising given that Lord Chaitanya himself visited the place. The presiding deity of the Rameshwar temple is Sri Ramnath Swami, a Shivlingam that some consider to be one of the 12 Jyotirlingas. Although there is some dispute on the matter, while parts of the current temple structure were only erected in 17th century, the temple visited by Lord Chaitanya was originally built in 12th century, with construction ongoing over a long period of time. Ramnath Swami Temple at Rameshwar is said to have the largest corridor in India. The pillared corridor has over 1,200 granite pillars beautifully carved and running a length of nearly 200.
corridor.
Like a Angan Maharaj. Length of nearly 230 meters. The temple Gopuram, east and west, are intricately carved and serve as a stunning example of South Indian architecture for the period. Another interesting feature are the 22 wells in the temple complex. The wells in the water in each well is said to taste uniquely different than the water in the other wells. According to the Puranas, Lord Ram was advised by the rishis to install and worship the Shivlinga here. To expiate the sin of Brahmahatya, the killing of a Brahmin, being Ravan, Ram fixed an auspicious time for the installation and sent Anjaneya to Mount Kailash to bring back a lingam. Because Anjaneya could not return in time, however, Sita Devi herself made a linga out of sand. When Anjaneya eventually returned with the Kailash linga called Vishwalingam, Lord Ram kindly had it installed alongside the first and arranged that the Vishwalingam should receive worship first. Now, further, Lord Chaitanya in Rameshwar. This place is also called as Tirupulani. Lord Chaitanya visited the Dharmasyan. It is a place of Sharanagati. Vibhishan surrendered to Lord Ramchandra at this place. It was here that Vibhishan gave Ram the idea that he should approach the ocean god Samudradev and ask him the means to cross the ocean. Lord Ram sat on Darbha or Kusha grass and meditated for 3 days, but Samudradev did not come. This enraged him and he angrily glanced on the ocean. By the mere glance of the Lord, the ocean became agitated. Samudradev came out with folded hands and surrendered to Lord Ram. Even the Lord of the ocean surrendered to Lord Ram at this place. Dhanush Tirtha or Dhanush Kodi. Then Lord Chaitanya came to Dhanush Tirtha, which is a very holy place. It is 12-kilometer walk from Rameshwaram temple. After Ravan was killed and Vibhishan was coronated as the king, he approached Lord Ram and requested him that this beautiful bridge which we have built gives easy access to Lanka and makes it easier for the kings to attack Lanka. So please break the bridge. So Lord Ram cut the bridge into 3 pieces, and that time the two oceans which were separated by the bridge merged together. Sri Ramchandra called for all the holy waters and tirthas of the entire universe to enter into Dhanush Tirth. The place The place was so beautiful that Lord Rama and Sita Devi bathed here. Vibhishan comes regularly to take his bath here. Srila Prabhupada says that anyone who bathes at this place will get liberation. Anyone who just says the word Dhanush Tirtha while meditating on this place will get liberation. After bathing at Dhanush Tirtha, Lord Chaitanya bathed in 22 other tirthas which are in the temple of Ramnath, each offering a special benediction. There is one more tirtha called Agni Tirtha. After Agni Dev returned Sita to Lord Ram, he asked Lord Ram for a place where he could get purified because he had taken Sita away. So Lord Ram asked him to take his bath in the ocean, and that place came to known as Agni Tirtha. It is said that anyone who bathes in this place will develop the quality of chastity. Kurma Puran. Lord Chaitanya then went to the temple of Rameshwaram. While he was in the temple, he was hearing Hari Katha with pure-hearted Brahmins. During the talk, he heard them discussing the section of Kurma Puran describing the story of the chaste lady. In that section, the pastime of Ravana kidnapping Sita is described. Ravana was so egoistic that he felt anything good has to be his. This is the nature of ego. When it is inflated, it cannot tolerate somebody having something that he wants. It's a condition that people spend their whole life trying to achieve, but are so foolish that they do not know that there can be no satisfaction of the heart in that state. So Ravana, upon hearing of Sita's beauty, became very lusty. He disguised himself and came before Sita. Sita took shelter of the lyre, and Agnidev put her in the custody of Parvati. From fire, Maya Sin appeared and Ravana stole her. According to the Sthal Puran of Tirupati, once when Ravana was flying in his airplane, he came over a region in Himalayas where he saw a beautiful young lady performing penances. She was extremely beautiful and had matted hair. Her name was Vedvati. Ravana approached her with the intention to enjoy her, but Vedvati repelled that she has taken a vow that she will only accept Lord Vishnu as her husband. Once a pure sage was reciting the Vedas and a girl was born, and she came to be known as Vedvati. Upon hearing Vishnu's name, Ravana was so enraged, he began to blaspheme Lord Vishnu. He attacked her and caught her by her hair, but Vedvati, with her mystic powers, cut off her hair with her hands. She then proclaimed that since you have touched my body, I cannot bear living in this body anymore. I will take my next birth from the earth, and in my next birth I will be the cause of the destruction of your dynasty. Then, by her yogic powers, she burst herself into ashes. Ravana stole Vedvati in the form of Maya Sita, and she had to undergo 10 months of harassment. So Sita Devi requested the Lord to accept her as his wife, but Ram replied that in his next incarnation he will marry her. In a later incarnation as Venkatesh, Lord married Vedvati, who appeared as Padmavati at that time. Lord Chaitanya got the scripture copied and personally came to Madurai and gave it to Ramdas Vipra. When he saw this Kurma Puran, he became ecstatic and offered a nice feast to Lord Chaitanya. This was a major pastime of the Then in Chaitanya Charitamrita, this Ramdas Vipra pastime is explained in detail in the following verses. Shall I read that? Okay. This is I'm reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita from the following verses. There among the Brahmanas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu listened to the Kurma Puran, wherein is mentioned about the chaste woman's narration. Purport. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that only two khandas of the Kurma Puran are now available, namely the Purva Khanda and Uttar Khanda. Sometimes it is said that Kurma Puran contains 6,000 verses, but according to Srimad Bhagavatam, the original, the Kurma Puran contains 17,000 verses. It is considered the 15th of the 18 Mahapurans. Next, Srimati Sita Devi is the mother of the three worlds and the wife of Lord Ramchandra. Among chaste women, she is supreme, and she is the daughter of King Janak. When Ravana came to kidnap Mother Sita and she saw him, she took shelter of the fire god Agni. The fire god covered the body of Mother Sita, and in this way she was protected from the hands of Ravana. Upon hearing from the Kurma Puran how Ravana had kidnapped a false form of Mother Sita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very satisfied. The fire god Agni took away the real Sita and brought her to the place of Parvati, goddess Durga. An illusory form of Mother Sita then was delivered to Ravana, and in this way Ravana was cheated. After Ravana was killed by Lord Ramchandra, Sita Devi was brought before the fire and tested. When the illusory Sita was brought before the fire by Lord Ramchandra, the fire god, the illusory form, disappeared and delivered the real Sita to Lord Ramchandra. When Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard this story, he was very pleased and he remembered the words of Ramdas Vipra. Indeed, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these conclusive statements from the Kurma Puran, he felt great happiness. After asking the Brahmanas permission, he took possession of the manuscript leaves of the Kurma Puran. Since the Kurma Puran was very old, the manuscript was also very old. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took possession of the original leaves in order to have a direct evidence. The text was copied onto new leaves in order that the Puran be replaced. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then returned to southern Madurai, and delivered the original manuscript to the of the Kurma Puran to Ramdas Vipra. When he was petitioned by by Mother Sita, the fire god Agni brought forth an illusory Mother Sita and Ravana, who had 10 heads, kidnapped the false Sita. The original Sita then went to the abode of fire god. When Lord Ramchandra tested the body of Sita, it was false, illusory Sita that entered the fire. At that time, the fire god brought the original Sita from his abode and delivered her to Lord Ramchandra. These two verses were taken from Kurma Puran. Ramdas Vipra was very pleased to receive the original leaf manuscript of the Kurma Puran, and he immediately fell down before Lord feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and began to cry. After receiving the manuscript, the Brahmana, being very pleased, said, "Sir, you are Lord Ramchandra himself and have come in the dress of a sannyasi to give me audience. My dear sir, you have delivered me from a very unhappy condition. I request you to take your lunch at my place. Please accept this invitation. Due to my mental distress, I could not give you a very nice lunch uh, the other day. Now, by good fortune, you have come again to my home." Saying this, the Brahmana very happily cooked food and a first class dinner was offered to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed that night in the house of the Brahmana. Then, after showing him mercy, the Lord started uh, towards the Tamparani river in Padyadesh. Purport. Padyadesh is situated in the southern part of India known as Kerala and Kola. In all these areas, there were mainly kings of the title Pandya who ruled over Madurai and Rameshwar. In the Ramayana, the Tamparani river is mentioned. The Tamparani, also known as Purunai, flows through Tirunivali before entering the Bay of Bengal. The Tamparani river is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.39. There were 9 temples of Lord Vishnu at Naitripti of the bank of river Tamparani, and after bathing in the river, Lord Chaitanya saw the deities with great curiosity and wandered on. Purport. The 9 Vishnu temples known as Navtirupati are situated in and around Alvar Tirunagari. This is a town about 17 miles southeast of Tirunelveli. All the deities of the temple assemble together during a yearly festival in the town. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to a holy place known as Chiyadantala, where he saw the deities of the two brothers, Lord Ramchandra and Lakshmana. He then proceeded to Tilakanchi, where he saw the temple of Lord Shiva. Purport. Chindantala is sometimes known as Kshetratal. It is near the city of Kaila, and there is a temple there dedicated to Lord Sri Ramchandra and his brother Lakshman. Tilakanchi is about 30 miles northeast of the city of Tirunelveli. Next, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited the holy place named Gajendra Mokshan, where he went to a temple of Lord Vishnu. He then came to Pangadi, a holy place where he saw the deities of Lord Ramchandra and Sita. Purport. The Gajendra Moksha temple is sometimes mistaken for a temple of Lord Shiva. It is about 2 miles south in the city of Kaivar, Nagar Koil. Actually, the deity is not Lord Shiva but of Vishnu. Pangadi is about 30 miles south of Tirunelveli. Formerly, the temple there contained the deity of Sri Ramchandra, but later the devotees of Lord Shiva replaced Lord Ramchandra with the deity of Lord Shiva named Rameshwar or Ramalingam. Next, Later the Lord went to Cham, Cham, Chamtapura, where he saw the deities of Lord Ramchandra and Lakshmana. He then went to Sri Vaikuntha and saw the temple of Vishnu there. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to Malai Parvat and, and offered prayers to Agastya Muni. He then visited Kanyakumari. Purport. The range of mountains in South India, beginning from Kerala and extending to Cape Comorin, is called Malay Parvat. Concerning Agastya, there are four opinions. First, there is a temple of Agastya Muni in the village of Agastyampalli in the district of Tanjore. Second, there is a temple of Lord Skanda on a hill known as Shivgiri, and the temple is said to have been established by Agastya Muni. Third, some say that the hill near Cape Comorin, known as Pathishya, served as Agastya Muni's residence. Fourth, there is a place known as Agastya Malai, which is a range of hills on both sides of Tamparni river. Cape Comorin itself is also known as Kanyakumari. Next, after visiting Kanyakumari, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Amlital, where he saw the deity of Sri Ramchandra. Thereafter, he went to a place known as Mallar Desh, where where a community of Bhattarthis lived. After visiting Baleshwar, Mallar Desh, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Tamal Kartik and then to Vetapani. There he saw the temple of Raghunath, Lord Ramchandra, and passed the night. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accompanied by his servant Krishnadas. He was a Brahman, but he met with Bhattarthis there. With a woman, the Bhattarthis allured the Brahmana Krishnadas, who was simple and gentle. By virtue of their bad association, they polluted his intelligence. Allured by the Bhattarthis, Krishnadas went to their place early in the morning. The Lord also went there very quickly just to find out him. Upon reaching their community, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked the Bhattarthis, "Why are you keeping my Brahman assistant? I am in the renounced order of life, and so are you. Yet you are purposefully giving me pain, and I do not see any logic in this." Upon hearing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the Bhattarthis came running from all the sides with weapon in the hands, desiring to hurt the Lord. However, their weapons fell from their hands and struck their own bodies. When some of the Bhattarthis were thus cut to pieces, the other ran away in the four directions. While there was much roaring and crying at the Bhattarthis community, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu grabbed Krishnadas by the hair and took him away. That very night, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his assistant Krishnadas arrived at the bank of Payasvini river. They took their bath and went to see the temple of Adikeshav. When the Lord saw the Adikeshav, he was immediately overwhelmed with ecstasy. Offering various obeisances and prayers, he chanted and danced. All the people there were greatly astonished to see the ecstatic pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They all received the Lord very well. In the temple of Adikesha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu discussed spiritual matters among highly advanced devotees, while there he found a chapter of the Brahma Samhita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly happy to find a chapter of that scripture, and symptoms of ecstatic transformations, trembling, tears, perspiration, trance and jubilation were manifest in his body. There is no scripture equal to Brahma Samhita as far as the final scripture conclusion is concerned. Indeed, that scripture is the supreme revelation of the glories of Lord Govinda. for it reveals the topmost knowledge of about him. Since all the conclusions are briefly presented in Brahma Samhita, it is essential amongst all the Vaishnava literatures. Purport. The Brahma Samhita is very important scripture. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu acquired the fifth chapter from the Adikeshav temple. In that fifth chapter, the philosophical conclusion of Achintya Bheda Ved Tattva is presented. The chapter also presents methods of devotional service, the 18 syllable hind discourses of the soul, the super soul and the fruitive activities, an explanation of Kama Gayatri, Kama Bija, and the original Mahavishnu, and a detailed description of the spiritual world, specifically Golok Vrindavan. The Brahma Samhita also explains the demigod Ganesha, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, the origin of the Gayatri Mantra, the form of Govinda, and his transcendental position and abode. The living entities, the highest goal, and the goddess Durga, the meaning of posterity, the five cross elements, love of Godhead, impersonal Brahman, the initiation of Lord Brahma, and the vision of the transcendental love enabling one to see the Lord. The steps of devotional service are also explained. The mind Yoga Nidra, and the goddess of fortune, devotional service and spontaneous ecstasy, incarnation beginning with Lord Ramchandra deities, the conditioned souls and the duties, the truth about Lord Vishnu, prayers, hymns, Lord Shiva, and the Vedic literature, personalism and impersonalism, good behavior, and many other subject matters are also discussed. There is also a description of the Son and the universal form of the Lord. All these subjects are conclusively explained in nutshell in Brahma Samhita. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had the Brahma Samhita copied, and then with great pleasure he went to a place known as Anant Padmanabh. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained for 2 or 3 days at Anant Padmanabh and visited the temple there. Then, in great ecstasy, he went to see the temple of Sri Janardhan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted and danced at Sri Janardhan for 2 days. He then went to the bank of the Paiswini river and visited to the temple of Shankar Narayan. Then he saw the monastery of Sringeri Mutt, the abode of Acharya Shankar. He then visited Matsyatirth, a place, a pilgrimage, and took bath in the river of Tungabhadra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next arrived in Udupi, the place of Madhvacharya, where the philosopher known as Tattvavadis resided. There he saw the deity of Lord Krishna and became mad with ecstasy. Then, while at the Udupi monastery, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw. This chapter is Madhya Leela chapter 9. Lord Chaitanya's travel to the holy places. Yes. While at the Udupi monastery, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Nartak Gopal, a most beautiful deity. This deity appeared to Madhvacharya in a dream. Madhvacharya had somehow or the other acquired the deity of Krishna from a heap of Gopi Chandan that had been transported in a boat. Madhvacharya brought this dancing Gopal deity to Udupi and installed him in the temple. To date, the followers of Madhvacharya, known as Tattvavadis, worship the deity. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received great pleasure in seeing this beautiful form of Gopal. For a long time he danced and chanted in ecstatic love. When the Tattvavadi Vaishnava first saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they considered him a Mayavadi sannyasi. Therefore, they did not talk to him. Later, after seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in ecstatic love, they were struck with wonder. Then, considering him as a Vaishnava, they gave him a nice reception. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that the Tattvavadis were very proud of their Vaishnavism. He therefore smiled and began to speak to them. Considering them very proud, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began his discussion. The chief Acharya of the Tattvavad community was very learned in the revealed scripture. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu humbly questioned him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I do not know very well the aim of life and how to achieve it. Please tell me of the best idea of humanity and how to attain it. The Acharya replied, when the activities of the four castes and the four ashramas are dedicated to Krishna, they constitute the best means whereby one can attain the highest goal of life. When one dedicates the duties of varnashram dharma to Krishna, he is eligible for 5 kinds of liberation. Thus, he is transferred to the spiritual worlds of Vaikuntha. This is the highest goal of life and the verdict of all the revealed scriptures. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, according to the verdict of the Shastras, the process of hearing and chanting is the best means to attain loving service to Krishna. The process entails hearing, chanting, remembering the holy name of Lord, pastimes, qualities and charge of the Lord, offering service according to the time, place and performer, worshipping the deity, offering prayers, always considering oneself the eternal servant of Krishna, making friends with him, and dedicating everything unto him. The 9 items of devotional service, when directly offered to Krishna, constitute the highest attainment of life. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. When one comes to the platform of loving service to Lord Krishna by executing these 9 processes, beginning from hearing and chanting, he has attained the 5th platform of success and the limit of life's goal. When one is actually advanced and takes pleasure in chanting of the holy names of the Lord, who is very dear to him, he is agitated and loudly chants the holy name. He also laughs, cries, becomes agitated and chants just like a madman, not caring for others. In every revealed scripture, there is the condemnation of fruitive activities. It is advised elsewhere to give up engagement in fruitive activities, for no one can attain the highest goal of life, love of God, by executing them. Occupational duties are described in the religious scriptures. If one analyzes them, he can understand their qualities and faults, and then give them up completely to render service unto Supreme Personality of God. A person who is considered a first-class man. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activity and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, one has to act according to the regulative principles of the Vedic injunctions. Pure devotees reject the 5 kinds of liberation. Indeed, for them liberation is very insignificant because they see it very hellish. Pure devotees always reject the 5 kinds of liberation, which include living in the spiritual Vaikuntha planets, possessing the same opulence as those possessed by Supreme Lord, having the same bodily features as the Lord, associating with the Lord and merging into the body of the Lord. The pure devotee do not accept these benedictions without the service of the Lord. It is very difficult to give up material opulence, land, children, society, friends, riches, wife, or the blessings of the goddess of fortune, which are desired even by the demigods. But King Bharat did not desire such things, and this was quite befitting his position, because for a pure devotee whose mind is always engaged in the service of the Lord, even liberation or merging into the existence of the Lord is insignificant, and what to speak of material opportunities. A person who is a devotee of Lord Narayan is not afraid of a hellish condition because he considers it as the same as elevation to the heavenly planets or liberation. The devotees of Lord Narayan are accustomed to seeing all these things on the normal level, on the same level. Both liberation and the creative activity are reflected by the devotee. You are trying to establish these things as life's goal and the process for attaining it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued speaking to the Tattvavadi Acharya, saying that I am a mendicant in the renounced order of life. You have been playing with me in a duplicitous way. You have not actually described the process and ultimate objective. After hearing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Acharyas of the Tattvavad Sampradaya became very ashamed. Upon observing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's rigid faith in Vaishnavism, he was struck with wonder. The Tattvavadi Acharyas replied, what you have said is certainly factual. It is the conclusion of all the revealed scriptures of the Vaishnavas. Still, whatever Madhvacharya had established as the formula for our party, we practice as our party policy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, both the fruitive worker and the speculative philosophers are considered non-devotee. We see both elements present in your sampradaya. The only qualification that I see in your sampradaya is that you accept the form of the Lord as true. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu broke the pride of the Tattvavadis to pieces. He then went to holy place known as Palvi Tirth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Madhashati, next went to Tirthakut, and after seeing the Vishal deity there, he went to the holy place known as Panchaksar Tirth. After seeing Panchaksar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Gokarna. While there, he visited the temple of Lord Shiva, and he went to their Payan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the crown Jew of all sannyasis then went to Shurapak Tirth. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited the town of Kolhapur, where he saw the goddess of fortune in the temple of Shir Bhagavati, and saw Lang Ganesh in another temple known as Chor Parvati. From there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Pandharpur, where he happily saw the temple of Vaishnav. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted and danced in various ways as usual. A Brahmana, seeing him in ecstatic love, was very pleased and invited the Lord to his home for lunch. The Brahmana offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu food with great respect and love. After lunch, the Lord received auspicious news. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received word that Sri Rangapuri, one of the disciples of Malvendra Puri, was present in that village at the home of the Brahmana. Hearing this news, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately went to Sri Rangapuri at the Brahmana's home. Upon entering, the Lord saw him sitting there. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Sri Rangapuri, he immediately offered him obeisances in ecstatic love, falling flat on the ground. The symptoms of transcendental transformations were visible, namely tears, jubilation, trembling, and perspiration. Upon seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in such an ecstatic, Sri Rangapuri said, Your Holiness, please get up. Your Holiness is certainly related to Sri Malvendra Puri. Without him, there is no fragrance of ecstatic love. After seeing this, Sri Rangapuri lifted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu up and embraced him. And as they embraced shoulder to shoulder, they began to cry in ecstasy. After some moments, they came to their senses and became patient. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then informed Sri Rangapuri about his relationship with Ishwar Puri. They were both inundated by the wonderful ecstasy of love that was aroused in them. Finally, they sat down and respectfully began to converse. In this way, they discussed the topics about continually, Lord Krishna continually for 5 to 7 days. Out of curiosity, Sri Rangapuri asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about his birthplace, and the Lord informed him that it was Navdvip Dham. Sri Rangapuri had gone to Navdvip with Sri Madhvendra, and he there remembered the incidents that had taken place there. As soon as Sri Rangapuri recalled Navdvip, he also recalled accompanying Sri Madhvendra Puri. He went to the house of Jagannath Mishra, where Sri Rangpuri had taken lunch. He even remembered the taste of an unprecedented curry made by a banana flowers. Sri Rangpuri also remembered the wife of Jagannath Mishra. She was very devoted and chaste. As for her affection, she was exactly like the mother of the universe. He also remembered how Sri Jagannath Mishra's wife, Shachimata, was expert in cooking. He recalled that she was very affectionate towards the sannyasi and fed them exactly like her own sons. Sri Rangapuri also remembered that one of her deserving sons had accepted the renounced order at a very young age. His name was Shankararanya. Sri Rangapuri informed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the sannyasi's name Shankararanya had attained perfection in that holy place, Pandharpur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in my previous ashrama, Shankararanya was my brother and Jagannath Mishra was my father. After finishing his talk with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Rangpuri started for Dwarika Dham. After Sri Rangpuri departed for Dwarka, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained with the Brahmana at Pandharpur for 4 more days. He took his bath in the Bhima river and visited the temple of Vittal. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next went to the bank of Krishnavena river, where he visited many holy places and the temple of various gods. The Brahmana community there was composed of 4 devotees. They regularly studied the book titled Krishna Karnam, which was composed by Mangal Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to hear the book Krishna Karnamrit, and with great eagerness he had it copied and took it with him. There is no comparison to the Krishna Karnamrit within the 3 words. By studying this book, one is elevated to the knowledge of pure devotional service to Krishna. One who constantly reads the Krishna Karnamrit can fully understand the beauty and melodious taste of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. The Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrit were 2 books that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu considered to be the most valuable jewels. Therefore, he took them with him on his return. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next arrived at the banks of the river Tapi. After bathing there, he went to Mahishmapatipura. While there, he saw many holy places on the banks of the river Narmada. The Lord next arrived at Dhanush Tirtha, where he took his bath in the river Nirvindhya. He then arrived at Rashyamukh mountain, and then he went to Dandakaranya. Purport: according to some opinions, Rashyamukh is a chain of mountains beginning from the village of Hampi Gram in the district of Belari. The mountain chain begins along with the bank of river Tungabhadra. Next, within the Dandakaranya forest, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited a holy place Saptatar. Then the seven palm trees there, there were very old, very bulky, and very high. Upon seeing the seven palm trees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced them. As a result, they all returned to Vaikuntha Lok in the spiritual worlds. After the seven palm trees had departed for Vaikuntha, everyone was astonished to see that they were gone. The people then began to say that this sannyasi called Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must be an incarnation of Lord Ramchandra. Only Lord Ramchandra has the power to send seven palm trees to the Vaikuntha planets. Eventually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at a lake known as Pampa, where he took his bath. He then went to a place called Panchuvati, where he Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu I'm ready for you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then visited Nasik, and he saw the beauty of Lord Shiva. He then went to Brahmagiri, and then to Pushwajatra. How are you? Today is your birthday? How old are you?
studying the Chakravarti only and doing a lot of teaching services and everything. Serving for last many years. And then, do you think this one Madhavi or that? The environment here is also very new. That is good for the health also. First, Saturday. For 5 days and for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday morning I'll come back.
Shri Guru Charana Padma केवल भक्ति सद्मा वंदो मोहि सावधान मते याहर प्रसादे भाई ए भव तरिया जाय कृष्ण प्राप्ति होए यहाँ हईते गुरु मुख पद्मावाक्या चिते ते करिया क्या तारना करिया माने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति हे प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा चक्षुदान दिल जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशिता प्रेमा भक्ति यहाँ है अविद्या विनाश जाते वेदे गाया हर चरिता वेदे गाया हर चरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना हा प्रभु करु दया देहो मोरे पद छाया हा प्रभु करु दया देहो मोरे पद छाया यश घुष त्रिभुवाना एबे यश घुष त्रिभुवाना शिला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना शिला प्रभु पतित पावना जय प्रभुपदा 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 जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद I've taken all the list of places from Puja18 for Rameshwar Yatra. Preparing all the precise notes were at